Your mates are married when you are still here eating my food. Are you not ashamed of yourself?
In the neighborhood of Aduke Street, every morning began the same way. Mariam, her mother would call from the kitchen, banging the pot louder than necessary. Do you know I was already married at your age? Mariam would sit on her bed, staring at the wall, already tired before the day began. Your mates have children that call them mama, her mother continued. And you are still ironing your only clothes. Sometimes the words came sharper. What kind of woman grows old in her father's house? At family gatherings, her mother would laugh loudly and say, "Pray for Mariam. Time is running." And everyone would laugh. Mariam laughed too, because crying had stopped helping. The neighbors were worst. When she passed with her handbag, they watched her like she was an unfinished project. "Good evening, Auntie Mariam," the children greeted. "Auntie?" At the well, women whispered loudly on purpose. "She's beautiful, but beauty doesn't cook forever. She's too proud, that's why no man stayed." One afternoon, as Mariam returned from work, a neighbor smiled sweetly and asked, "So you're still waiting for God's time?" Mariam nodded, but inside, something cracked. Her friends used to sit with her on the same wooden bench after secondary school. Now, they visited her only during holidays, with babies tied to their backs. They spoke of school fees, husband's tempers, and family house. Then one of them said laughing, "Marriage is hard, but at least you're not alone." Another added, "Don't worry, Mariam, even if you marry late, you'll manage." Late. That night, Mariam cried until her pillow was heavy. And that was the night Daniel walked into her life. Daniel was quiet, polite, and struggling. He listened when she spoke. He looked at her like she mattered. When she asked about his plans, he said, "Life hasn't been kind, but I'm trying." She admired his humility. She loved how he made her feel needed. Her mother warned her, "He has nothing." The neighbors whispered, "She should be grateful someone even came." Mariam told herself love is enough. She paid for the wedding. She rented the apartment. She introduced him to people. And when he held her hand and said, "I'll never leave you," she believed him with her whole heart. Marriage changed him. Slowly, he stopped saying thank you. He stopped asking how her day went and stopped touching her. When she asked, "Did I do something wrong?" he replied, "You talk too much." One night, she found messages on his phone, messages of another woman. When she confronted him, crying, shaking, and asking why, he slapped her. Not hard enough to break bones, but hard enough to break hope. "Don't question me," he said. "You should be thankful I married you." That sentence buried itself inside her chest. Daniel began cheating openly. He came home late. He smelled like another woman. Spent money she earned. One evening, during an argument, he laughed and said the truth. "I never loved you, Mariam." She froze. "I married you because you were desperate." He continued calmly. "You were my ladder, and now I've climbed." Her ears rang. The man she defended, the man she financed, someone she loved, had planned her destruction. He left, not quietly. He took the car and the savings, even the contacts she introduced him to. Weeks later, she saw him on social media. He was engaged to another woman, a younger and richer woman. Mariam lost her job. She stopped eating and stopped speaking. Sometimes she sat on the floor and asked herself. She whispered, I tried. Her mother felt silent. The neighbors also stopped talking, and her friends avoided her eyes. Miriam did not marry late. She married under fear, and fear chose for her what love never would. For a very long time, Miriam disappeared. People thought she was finished, but pain has a strange way of teaching patience. She went back to her old notebooks, the business ideas Daniel once mocked. She sold what little she had left. She learned, and she failed quietly. She learned again, and slowly. She rebuilt herself without announcing it. One afternoon, years later, Daniel returned. He returned with need. His new marriage was cracking, and the money was sleeping. The woman he left Miriam for had discovered his true face. He stood at Miriam's door and said softly, "I made mistakes." She listened to him and then smiled. Not the old hopeful smile, but a calm one. "You didn't make mistakes," she replied. "You made plans." Miriam refused to help him. She refused him money and refused even anger. And that silence wounded him more than insults ever could. Months later, Daniel's lies caught up with him. The same connections Miriam once gave him now asked questions. Stories surfaced and women spoke. When his name fell, no one defended him. Miriam watched from a distance. She was not celebrating. She was just free. Miriam never rushed into love again. She healed quietly, and she spoke to other women. She told her story openly without shame. And one day, when someone asked, "How did you survive that betrayal?" she answered, "I stopped letting fear choose for me." She was no longer late. She was on time for herself. Desperation made her vulnerable. Love without wisdom destroyed her, but patience and self-respect saved her.